We're almost live. Hey everybody, it's Erin from Erin Makes, and welcome to my channel. We're streaming live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook for both Erin Makes and Craft Express. And today we're going to be playing around with sublimating some water bottles. Look how awesome these are. We're going to be playing around with sublimating the water bottles with both some printables that you can get, which I'm going to show you what those are all about. Also using some sublimation markers and also some sublimation inks. And let's get the intro going. Welcome to the show. All right, so we're back. So sorry, intro's done. Sorry, Instagram, you don't get a little intro. I haven't figured out how to get all that together yet. So we are going to be sublimating all of our water bottles. These are like a cola-shaped water bottle. These are from Craft Express, and we're using the mug press. So you don't need to have any super, expensive thing. The mug press, which is a fantastic tool, is perfect for this. Let me flip over my comments to make sure that I can see everybody's comments that they have for this. Now, before I forget, before we get too far into all this, first, I'm going to turn on my heat press, or the mug press, I should say. So what I need to do is just push the button, and it's going to make a sound because we want to get this nice and warmed up. And because we're not putting an official mug in here, we also want to put in this silicone piece. So this is like a little silicone sleeve that you want to add to any of your smaller shaped items that you're going to put inside your mug press. And you pretty much have this amount of space. I will have to say it's a little less than this space for it to work within the mug press. So I want to warm this up too, because the whole thing that makes sublimation work is heat. You got to have it be warm. So while this is warming up, we're just going to pop this into here and get that to warm on too. So it just kind of sits in there and kind of gets itself nice and warm. And for everybody who is not watching what I did before, I just turned the button on here. As you can see, sorry, I'm letting Facebook and YouTube know. Put the button in here, and we're putting the little silicone piece in there while this is warming up. Now, the little button on here, you can see it's kind of red, which means that it's not quite warm enough yet, and it's going to ding again when it is warm. Frustrated with your Cricut, can't get to work right. Cricuts can be sometimes a pain. That's not what this video is about. If you want to send me a private message about that, happy to help you. But we're going to talk about the sublimation for today. But send me a message and we will chat about your Cricut and see if we can get solved. I know a few tricks. I don't know everything. All right. So first thing, now that this is all heated up, the free printable, let me flip this over again. This is the free printable. Look at all these amazing inspirational quotes that you guys can get. Let me hold it up so you guys can see it. Aren't these awesome? These are fantastic. So these, all you need to do is print them off. Now here's the caveat when you print them off. They have to be printed on a sublimation printer. It is a special type of ink that transfers with heat to go onto a poly-coated surface. So these are not just any old water bottles. These water bottles are specifically made to take heat transfer. So they have a poly coating on them, and Craft Express water bottles are fantastic because look at that. Aren't those great? They're the best. Look at those images on there. So, oops, and they ding. So make sure you have the right surface because not every surface has a poly coating. Obviously polyester shirts, those work just fine. But for surfaces other than a t-shirt, just make sure they say Sublimation and Craft Express. Anything you get from there, it's going to have a poly coating on it. The other thing, make sure you do, I've given you both files in the freebie. The freebie is on my website, link in the information section. When you first get your files, this is what I call the front facing. So if you want to use this for cards or for something else, by all means, go for it. See, do you hear it ding? But when you're wanting to put this on an image, you have to use the flipped version. So when you see it through the paper, see how it makes sense through that paper? You can actually read it because you want it to read face forward. So hint with anything with words, make sure it's mirror imaged. Or when you look through your paper, it reads just the way you want it to. So all of my prints, we're going to do the one together. We're going to do this one, see how it's backwards. But when I flip it over, can you guys, well, I don't know if you guys can see that. Just barely see that. See, I can just see it and it reads. So it needs to be reverse imaged. And this is the Craft Express. It already has the image, it has the paper on there. So this is the sublimation printer, that specific paper that goes with the printer. So you want to make sure you have all of those correct things. It's not just regular old printer paper. That's the difference between the printed images. All right, so let me put these guys away. And let me show you, so now this is warm, how to get this prepped. Let me turn the camera over. Super simple for prepping. I'm going to cut all the way down to the bottom because I want to get this as close to the bottom. So just for looking for the size of the water bottle, You can't go up too high. I can move my hand. You can't go up too high on the water bottle because it won't take the heat all the way up to the top. So you want to stay close to the bottom. So what I'm using as my reference guide is that little line right there. That's kind of that's my bottom line. So that's what I'm going to hit and basically make that flush to the bottom of the image. So the bottom of that little heart is going to rest towards the bottom. If I get too high, what's going to happen is that it's not going to sublimate correctly, and you're going to get like some patchy images, which we're going to play with that in a little bit and get some fading going. We're going to do that with one of the images my daughter drew because it was really cool. She's like, Mom, I want a water bottle. I'm like, draw something. Let's go with it, girl. So now we've got that. We're just going to trim off some of the top so we don't have some excess paper. And then we are going to attach it to our water bottle. So again, I want to line this up so that the little heart, see that little heart right there, is right. I'm going to move this right to here so everybody on Instagram can see too. Move right there and then just tape it on. Now, here's the next question I always get. Is there a special tape you need to use? Absolutely. So this tape right here, it's called sublimation tape. It's a heat tape. It's made to take heat. When I did some of my trials, one of them, I did just this. I only put a singular piece of tape on there, and that was a problem because as it heated, it came undone. So I'm going to put a couple more just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. I don't want this to wiggle around. I don't want it to be a problem because if it moves while it's heating, it's going to give you like this shadowy image. And we get all kinds of amazing people on. We got Kathy on, and I see Two Little Me Crafts is joined, and we've got Miss D and Debbie and Atlanta Girl. Hello, hello. So I'm just popping this on. I'm also going to do right down here where that heart is because I want to make sure, because my image is right here. I don't want to make sure it doesn't move on me, right? Okay, so now I'm going to put my heat glove on. Still can't find my other one. I have no idea where it went. I need to order myself another pair because one glove in it's not working too well, let me tell you. And this is nice and warm. It's not like on fire, but it's warm. So I don't want to touch it too heavily. Place it in here. I want to get it nice and warm. And we're going to layer that like that. And then when it goes into my mug press, come here. The edge is not too hot. I need to make sure that the outside here, there we go. Now when I put this in, here's the magic with the mug press. I'm going to move this over just a tiny bit so Instagram can see too. There we go. So here's the opening to the mug press. It's on. I already set this to temperature. When you get your bottles, it says what heat and time. And if you're curious about how to turn this on, how to change the heat, the time, and all that stuff, let me get this in and then I'll talk about it because it takes a little while to do it. All right, so I'm going to put it in. I'm going to make sure it goes all the way in. You hear that little, and it closes on its own. That's the best part. It just does it automatically. All I have to do is put it in. It's magic. It's the best thing ever. So if you're curious how the tips and tricks about how to change the temperature, how to change the time, all that stuff, how to turn on, how to turn it off, all of that mess, there is very detailed videos on every single one of the machines over at Craft Express. So if you go to their YouTube channel, which we're streaming live on their YouTube channel, every single machine has like a how-to video, and it gives you like it's 60 seconds or less about how to do every single one of the machines, also tips and tricks with all the different blanks that they have. They've done an amazing job giving like, okay, I just got this product. How do I use it video? It's fantastic. So make sure you go check out those videos once you get your machine so you know all how to turn it on and how to do all the fun stuff. I can't wait to see you in person. Me too, Sarah. So heads up, we got Creativation coming up real soon at the end of this month, flying on the 30th. And Sarah's going to be there. Sarah Clark. Hey, Sarah. How you doing? All right. So Craft Express tumbler press. So this would still work in the tumbler press as well. I'm just showing how this works in the heat press, but it's the same principle. Once you get your image on there, put it in the tumbler press, let it heat, and you're good to go. So same concept because this works with both objects. I believe it works with both objects. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. It says on the information when it works. I know it works in the heat press. That's where I've used it. All right, so this takes a little bit of time. Again, if you're curious about how long it takes, make sure to look in the information section of the product when you order it. It's all on the Craft Express website. So if you get it from Amazon, or if you get it from the Craft Express shop, links are all down below to the supplies. You can see like the time, the temperatures, all that stuff for other products. Okay, so while this is doing its thing, let's get the next one set and ready. So my daughter made this Here it is. Isn't it cute? So she also already thought, so first she was like, oh, Mom, I got it backwards. But you guys, well, Instagram, it makes sense to you. But for YouTube, you guys can see. So what she did is she drew her name Cat on the one side and then flipped it over to the side that she wanted to do it and then traced her name Cat, right? Downside is that she did it with the sublimation marker on this side. So I got to make sure I put protective paper on all of it so it doesn't get on my silicone space or my silicone sleeve, I guess it's a word, you know, and all those different things. So this is the pen she uses, the Artist Spree pen. She just did it in black and she did some really, really cool designs. Instagram, because my camera's flipped, that's the halfway mark. Ding. It's not done yet because it'll open when it's done. So there it is. All right. So how do we do this? Let's flip this around. Made a giant mistake and use shrink wrap and until, oh no, is there a way to get the melted shrink wrap off the press? Oh, that sounds awful. Oh no. Okay, I would definitely contact the manufacturer about that and double check about if there's anything that you can do, because I would hate for you to, it's got that coating on the inside of it. So contact whatever company you got your tumbler press from and ask them, because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. But yeah, definitely double check them about that. Yeah, don't use shrink wrap. It's not meant for that. All right, so sorry, Jerry. That sounds awful. Anybody got any suggestions? I know Sarah does lots of sublimation too. Sarah, you got an idea? She's on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you got one, I'll post it up on the comments. Oh, that sounds awful. But yeah, contact the company. All right, so let's get into this while this is doing it. And it's okay if you see a little bit of smoke. It's actually steam coming off of here. I don't know if you guys can see the little wafty pieces. It's totally fine. It just means that there was a little bit of wetness happening and it's all good. Okay, so we're going to get our other bottle ready. We're going to line this up as close to the bottom as possible. Now this one, she went quite tall. I would say less than 3 inches is kind of your ballpark that you're wanting to go with. So less than 3 inches in height. It's done. Let me just get this on here real fast and then we'll pull it out and get the next one in. I try to do these in stages, but I end up talking too much. So what you see on the outside is not what we're going to see. Whew, there's all the steam. It was very steamy. And it's okay if it sits in there for a little bit longer. Not a big deal. All right. I'm just going to put a little bit of tape here so it doesn't go away. And I'm going to pull out the mug out of the heat press. And I'm just going to set it. I have a craft mat just over here. So this is my craft mat. It's a heat protective mat. So I'm just going to rest it over on there so it doesn't mess up my table. You can get these mats. These are awesome. This is the 12 by 12 from Artist Spree. And again, the link is down in the information section. So we're going to pull this out. See how it started kind of pull. Oh, it already did it again, but I got it taped there. So we're good. We're going to do a little sneak, tiny, tiny sneak. I don't want to over sneak it just to see. Oh, it looks great. I'm going to let it cool down. Okay. I just did a little peek without moving too much stuff. So in case it didn't take, but I did lots of test runs before we went live. So I know it's pretty good. Okay. So let's go back to her bottle. We're going to pull out. See how it's just kind of steaming? It's very, very toasty. I don't know if you guys can see that steam coming up. It's just because it's got a little bit of wetness, but that's cool. All right. So all of this pen marking right now is going to catch onto the silicone. So we want to put protective paper around that. So there is a giant roll of protective paper. I already pretend you didn't hear that. So I'm just fell to the ground. I have a giant roll of protective paper and we're going to put this around my bottle. I bet Vic will yell at me. Oh no, Jerry. No. Yeah, contact a little bit. You can try. Okay, so Sarah said about the heat, the tumbler with the stuff in it. So here we go. We have, I'm going to put up on screen. Heating up the press a little bit and gently peeling it off. Just be careful because it is heat. So, but contact Craft Express. I'm sure they have some tips to help you, give you a little bit. So I want to make sure I cover up everywhere that there is an image. And we're going to coat this down really well and then tape it up really well as well. The cool thing about using the protective paper versus, let's say, because I tried this, I've tried all these things and I'll show you what happened. I used extra sublimation paper and copy paper because I couldn't find my protective paper. And it made some oopsies. I'm trying to see where my oops, oh, here it is. Here's my oopsie bottle. See how it didn't quite get the heat all the way through? So here it is, see, you guys can see there. So just to show you, see how it didn't quite show the heat. It's because it couldn't get the heat all the way through. So use protective paper. Don't use another layer of copy paper. Don't use another layer of sublimation paper because there's just not enough heat that can transfer. The silicone wrap, that's why we got it warm to begin with, is still able to transfer the heat and conduct the heat all the way through to give you a nice even coating, and so it doesn't get those kind of wavy, splotchy lines. So just as a heads up, there's a reason why you use the right products. All right, so taping everything up. Here we go. Try that, Sarah. Try not to tell Vic or Megan. Well, if they're watching the video, they know now. They're known to get on these videos. Your secret is no longer safe. Sorry. Okay, let me get these off here. All right, so we're using my daughter's, and now that this is all good, I'm going to put my glove back on because this silicone wrap is still kind of warm. It's not horrible. It's not like on fire. All right. Now we're going to layer this up. I'm going to do her name as being the main image. There we go. And then we're going to pop this in here. Here we go. And then this is the best part. It's just like set it and forget it. I'm just holding that little bitty flap. I know I just showed Instagram. I didn't get. So I just had that little bitty flap stick out here. So that way it could kind of seal. I'm going to end up turning this around because we had an image going all the way around. We had like a 360 image. So before I pull this out, I'm going to do 2 presses on this, and it's okay to go a little bit longer. It's not a big deal. It's just going to smoke. It's going to steam more. I'm going to rotate it to make sure, because this front side is not getting anywhere near as much heat as the back side. So we're going to do a 180 on it once it does all of there to make sure we get good coating all the way around. Well, you'll see. It'll make sense. So that's going to take a couple of turns to get done. So while that is doing that, testing. Okay, it's nice and cool. We're going to show the water bottle. All right, here we go. Here's the big reveal. Let's get our camera going. Here we go. Ready? Ta-da! Look at that. All right, let me hold it up to the screen for everybody to see. Look at that. This is love yourself. Instagram, it's showing backwards because that's what the camera does. It likes to show everything in mirror reverse. But for YouTube and stuff, take a look at that. Isn't that fun? Yay. I love it. So if you notice at the very, very top, it's because there wasn't as much heat there. So as you get higher and higher and higher into the mug press, just make sure your images are nice and low. So that's about as high, 3 inches, like max. If you're okay with a fading effect, which we're going to do with my daughter's because she went higher, it's going to have like this cool kind of gradual fading as it gets higher up. But if you're wanting a nice clean image, stay nice and low on your water bottles. So it looks cool. I love it. Where is the design from? I made it. So you can get all of these cool designs. They're free on my website. You get all of these designs. So this is the front image. Instagram. No, this is the reverse image. So Instagram, you're seeing it the right way. YouTube, you're seeing it mirror image. So this is Instagram. This is what the mirror image. It's funny. Both versions, both the front side and the mirror image side are in the freebie, along with each file having its own PNG file. So if you want to make it bigger or smaller for something else, if you want to use it to sublimate on something else, as long as you have a sublimation printer and the sublimation paper, you can print it and it can sublimate on anything you want. So all those images are free on my website, link down below. There's the halfway. Okay, so while that's doing it, we're going to do another water bottle, because what if you don't have a printer? What if the markers are not your jam? I love doing this tactic, and this is what fell on the floor, so I got to grab it real fast. Hang on. Okay. Stencils. I love my stencils. This is plain old copy paper, and so is what my daughter used. My daughter had plain old copy paper. Nothing fancy. If you're using the markers, which I just have a black one, here it is. I just have a black one, but if you are using any of the colors of Artist Spray markers or sublimation markers, I love my Artist Spray markers, copy paper works great. So I'm going to put my paper down. I just trimmed off a section. This is the part that's going to go onto the water bottle. So we're going to put that down. And for this, I'm going to just use some washi tape. And I'm going to do the edges because we're going to do a little trim because there's more paper than there is, oops, sorry. There's more paper than there is of, that goes around the bottle. So we're going to do like a little cut so it'll fit. And we're just going to do some stenciling. We're going to do some ink blending. I can't seem to get my washi tape off. I'm having the hardest time. Oh, I hate it when it does this. There it is. Okay. So we're just gonna, oh! Now, because this side of the bottle, so let me show right here. This is why I'm double duting. So this side of the bottle right here didn't get any heat. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna take the top of the bottle, I'm gonna hold the silicone, and I'm just gonna rotate the bottle around, okay? And then lift up, lift down, and hopefully it did okay, because I saw some of the papers moving. We'll see. I did see some of the papers moving around. We're going to fingers crossed on that one. I probably should have taken it out and like double checked it, but we'll see. Hopefully it's fine. Okay, now I've got my stencil, and I do have magnets here, and that was really loud. And we're just going to magnetize these onto here. They're really strong magnets. There we go. Okay. And I have 3 colors of, these are Artistry inks. They're so gorgeous. So I have blue, green, and purple. They're kind of like my go-to favorites. And I'm just going to add some color to here. So just take your blending brush into your ink and just add color. I'm not worried about trying to fit. And I'm just doing the middle section. So just take your ink and add your color in here. So here we go. So that's the blue. Yeah, that's blue. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, that's violet, but this is violet. It's a definite difference of violet. You can see the difference. And I just love the design of this. This is a Crafter's Workshop stencil. I think stenciling and these Craft Express and the Craft Express sublimation stuff, but the stenciling with these inks with the blending brushes is just so cool. A little hint of purple over here. And then we're going to go into some green. So let's grab some green. And one thing I get asked, and I didn't know the answer to this too, the blending brushes I have for this, I only use for sublimation ink. I don't, oops, that's pulling up a little bit. I don't mix and match my inks. And I want to kind of blend my colors here. That can sit for a second while I'm finishing here. So I'm not going to take these blending brushes and go use them with anything else, like with my card making or any of those inks, dye inks or distress inks or oxides, because it can mess them up. So these blending brushes, I bought a set specifically for my sublimation ink pads. Get it down. There it is. So these are so awesome. These are only 3 of the colors, but there is a whole rainbow of colors. They're phenomenal. They're a ton of fun to play with. And it's kind of like, if you don't want to spend the money, because a sublimation printer is not cheap, let me tell you, it's very, very expensive. But you can print just about anything. You can have a ton of fun with that. So this is a good go-to as another method that doesn't break the bank, is using probably stencils you already have. Take a look at that. Isn't that pretty? So stencils you already have. Just grab the inks and the blending brushes. Like this set, flying tape, here we go. So this set of blending brushes is like 12 bucks. It's not bad. So definitely a more inexpensive way of sublimating. You do have to get the heat press. All right, let's pull this out. Let's hope I didn't totally screw this up, because I did shift it instead of pulling it out all the way. I think no, because you know, it was just the outside paper that moved around. So we're good. So I'm going to put this over here and let it cool. Is the stencils mine too? No, the stencil is not mine. The stencil is from Crafter's Workshop, and they make phenomenal stencils. I absolutely love their stencils. I'm going to pull out the silicone wrapper as well and just kind of lay that down so it makes it a little easier. Still stay warm, but it's not going to be like on fire for me. So take a look at the coolness of this. Now we're going to add this to, look at that. So this is all just garbage. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? That's going to be a really pretty bottle. And it's just going to have this wrap along the bottom. All right. So I'm going to take my other blank water bottle. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm just going to snip off. So see, I had this little marking right here where there's no, where I had the tape. I'm just going to trim a tiny bit of that off. Just a snippy snip. There we go. Just a little bit. And we're going to line this up along the bottom. And then this is going to overlap, which is totally fine. Make sure that lays flat. This did a little bit of some blending here. Like there's some ink that kind of smudged. So I want to make sure I do that as the overlap. And then as I overlap all of these, get those on there, heat tape, lots of good heat tape here. And because I don't want to have the issue from last time, I'm going to really make sure. So first I'm going to tape it here, and then I'm going to go in and like tape there. Some people get really crazy with the tape. I think as long as you do it in 3 or 4 places, you should be good. 1 place is not enough. I will tell you that. It is way too hot. Way, way too hot. I always forget to do this, my lint roller. So I think I'm going to really quickly, just really, really quickly, because nothing is set in stone yet. I just want to make sure there's nothing on my water bottle that shouldn't be there. So I'm just going to, I think it's good. Something tells me I forgot to do it. I need to do it. See, look at that. That's something right there. So this is a good way, whatever surface you're going to go into, just do a little lint roller on your surface just to make sure. Any lints, because if there's something on there that shouldn't be there, it's going to leave like a blank spot. You don't want to have a blank spot. That's no fun. Okay. What are those stencils called? Their names. There are a zillion stencils on their site. That one in particular, you got to give me a minute. Once I get this in here, I will let you know. It is one of the brand new releases. So I have a link to go to scrapbook.com. And if you go to the brand new releases, you'll see the image for that. You're right. They come out with new stencils. It's this guy that's causing a problem. Here we go. Hang on. I'm having technical difficulties here, people. I can't get this lined up. There we go. There we go. Okay. That's on. Let's put this guy here. Let's pull up this tape. This is me doing things out of order, but the nice thing is that all things are fixable. Okay, so we should have no issues with that little guy running around on me. I need new protective paper, and I put the roll somewhere. Oh, right in front of me. It comes in these awesome rolls, and a little birdie told me that there is larger rolls coming very soon from Artist Free. There we go. This is way bigger than I need, but that's okay. It'll be nice and protected. So when it was moving around earlier, I'm hoping it was just the protective paper that was kind of shifting around, because I didn't do as good of a job sinking it down or holding it down. So we're going to do it a little bit here. The more tape, less chance you have things wiggling around on you. I'm being extra careful with this because I'm going to have to rotate it again to get all the way around on there. Okay. I think I'm good. Protect my hands. And it's okay if this is not flat because it's just going in the heat press. No big deal. My lonely glove until I find my other one. I need to order some more. And again, we're going to do one side and then we're going to have it go in and we're going to rotate it 180. So that goes in, holding out that little blue flap. There it goes. So if you guys can see, I held out that little blue flap right there just so it could get nice and snug. All right. So what is the stencil? At the bottom of every stencil, it does have a number. So I don't know the name of the stencil, but I can tell you the number. The number is 1059. And if you would be so generous as to click on the link in the information section, there are affiliate links to Amazon and to Artist Free and also to scrapbook.com, where scrapbook.com has all of the stencils that you can get. If you happen to purchase a stencil or any products from those, I just get a small percentage of that at no extra cost to you. It just helps me fund these videos. So if you're going to go and click on it and check it out anyway, use my link and then use the number. I should do a better job of putting the numbers down. 0159. And this is the 12 by 12 stencil. So nice big stencil right there. Okay. Was I faced the wrong way the whole time on YouTube? Sorry if I did. I think I did it the right way. Okay, so let's take a look at the other one. I think it's ready. I'm going to test it. Okay, it's not super hot now. All right, so it was just the outside paper. And this is why I wanted to make sure. Oh, it did move a little bit. That's okay. Oh, or you know what? It might have gone through. It's what my daughter made, and I was like, you might have some problems. Thank you so much, Jerry. She clicked my link. I appreciate that. But you know what? I think she's going to love it because it's got her name on it. So here it is. Now, why did it fade? It's because it didn't have as much heat. So you're getting just a partial impression of it. We've got a little bit of shadowing because I think it did shift a tiny bit. And then why is it like this on the back side? It's because when we layered it over, if you remember when we first put this on, which means it's probably going to happen to the other one as well. So we might have some like double bits in the back. So oof. See, remember how we had it layered over? It caught and it went through both layers. So it heated so much because we turned it around. We got a little bit of some double impression, which looks kind of cool, actually. You know, if you're not looking for super specific colors and you're okay with it being a little bit, you know, just stressed looking, which it kind of is, or like a shadowy looking, it looks cool. I think she's going to be happy. She's been bugging about, she made this, that's the halfway mark. My daughter made this like 3 weeks ago, and she, Mom, when are you doing the video? I'm like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Believe me, the video is coming. My boys have been bugging. So teens love these water bottles. They've all asked, Mom, can I have one? Can I make it with my thing? I'm like, yeah, draw something. Let's make it. So I've got 2 left because they come in a 4-pack. And so I have 2 left for the boys to have some fun and let them kind of create their own water bottles. So the number again of the stencil. Absolutely. All right, the number of the stencil, if I can find it. Okay, 1059. 1059. All right. So that's going to do some more heating. So just to show you guys again, these are some of the really easy print files that you can get. They're so, so pretty. I love it. This is the other one. Look how cute they look. And then here's my daughter's that she did just with the marker. And on Instagram, it looks reversed because Instagram, everything is flipped. But on YouTube and here they are. Look at them all. I love them. So cute. And I think they're on sale on scrapbook.com, if I'm correct. I think the stencils are on sale. Look how fun these are. They're so good. And they can definitely be washed. They're awesome bottles. They're fantastic. So this would be like your 4-pack. They all come in, they're exactly the same. It's a really, if you're going to go buy a water bottle, time to flip. You would spend more money on just 2 water bottles with designs on them than if you did it yourself. But I know you have to buy the machine and stuff. But if you're going to do a few of them, if you give them as gifts, if you do them for like Christmas presents, you know, heads up, if you're going to come to my, it's almost ready, my art retreats. We're going to be doing this there too. All right, I'm just doing a 180 on this and then lifting up, lifting down. So if you want it to go again, lift up, lift down, and you're good to go. All right. While we're hanging out, waiting for that to finish so I can show you that. Those were the 3 bottles I wanted to show you. Don't forget, free printable on the website. So here we go. That's the that's the reverse version. This is the forward version. Make sure you go check them out. They're on my website. They're absolutely free. And all the links to all the other supplies we've been using are down in the information section. If there's any questions, we got to wait a couple minutes. Time to hang out, come chill. I left my drink over there. It's my Diet Coke for the day. It's my caffeine for the day. If you have any questions, happy to answer them because we're just going to wait. It's a little bit it's a sit and chill kind of a thing. You can't rush the heat. I will tell you that. Don't be like, okay, I'm tired, I'm bored. Let it do its thing. If you rush it and try to go too fast with it, it's really going to have a hard time getting all the heat that it needs to do. And you'll have these partial impressions like we did up at the top, which I was aiming to do that. I was like, it's not going to get that way with her. But, you know, that's what's going to happen all the way around. And you're going to end up with some muddled ones. My prototype one where I messed up. This is why I do these all ahead of time. I can show you what not to do. So this is what happens when you don't let it heat long enough or you put something in the way. Or if you go too high because it won't fit inside the mug press, you're going to end up with the bottom came out great, but the top didn't get any heat because it started curving and it couldn't get the heat to the top. So the full SKU is okay. Where did you buy the Sublimation ink pads? Sublimation ink pads are found at Artist Spree. The link is down in the information section. So if you go down to the information on Instagram, all those links are if you click in my bio. So that's where you can find them for Instagram. But for YouTube and Facebook, down in the information section, scroll down and you'll see Artist Spree Sublimation ink pads. And then you can buy one or you can buy the rainbow of colors. So that's where the matte, the ink pad, the markers, the tape, the protective paper, there it is. Those are all there. So and the companies work together. So we were talking about how I was going to be going to Creativation here shortly. Artist Spree and Artist Spree and Craft Express are going to be sharing a big booth together because their products work so well. You really can't do any of the heat pressing without the tools to do the heat pressing. So, and you need the blanks though. I mean, they're like a match made in heaven. They're awesome. Okay, we're going to speed this one up a little bit so we're not all waiting on pins and needles. Pins and needles? What's a needle? I don't even know what a needle is anymore. All right, so we're gonna get this off. If you're having a hard time with your tape, protective paper, you pretty much got a one-trick pony on this one. And if you have anything left on your paper, it's done. If there's any ink, it'll just transfer to the next one, the next one, the next one. Well, let me get this out of here. Now, I'm officially done with my mug press. So I'm gonna hold the button down so it turns off. I don't need it anymore. And you hear a ding, that means it's turned off. There's no more lights that are on, so you're good to go. So that's how you turn it off. All right, so let's get some of our tape off here. I don't want to get anything sharp on this because I don't want to, there we go. I can still get my fingernail in there. And this didn't move. I taped it. It did not wiggle at all. You're most welcome, Jerry. Jerry saying thank you for all the details. That is why we do these lives, so you guys can get all the details. Happy to answer questions. Instagram, if I missed any questions, I'm sorry. The screen is like so tiny. It's very, very hard to read. And I got to have the camera far enough back so you can see what I'm doing. I'm trying my hand. This is like getting there with the Instagram lives. I don't know why I didn't do them ages ago. I should have been. I'm doing lives on YouTube and Facebook for so long. I'm just going to rip this because this is, okay, hang on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Hopefully I didn't do anything bad there. Look at that. Oh, I'm loving this. Loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think it's my favorite one yet. Just, I mean, look. Oh, my goodness. Okay. There's one little piece of tape. I got to get it off. And you guys are going to see how awesome. Come on, tape. Tape away. Okay. Let me flip the camera so you guys can see. But just look at this. Look, look, look. I think that's my favorite. Isn't that just so pretty? I'm in love with this. There's a little bit of some over blending right here where the two colors kind of went over top, but I love it. I think this one is my favorite. This is mine. This will be my water bottle now. I can take it to all my softball games. Mine. So just to show you guys, I'm going to show everybody because I know you guys on YouTube can't see. I'm going to hold them up one at a time. So here is the one we just did with the stencil. This is the one that we did that was with the printout, one of the printouts that you can get for free. Here is another printout, and there's two others that we did not do together. So there's 5 printouts total that you can get. Here is another one. Look at that. And then this is the one that my daughter did with the marker, and she just had fun making squiggle lines. It almost looks like a topography map. I can't quite decide what design that is, but it's just really cool. So sky is the limit. The kids can have so much fun. Obviously, don't let them do the heat mug press themselves. But my daughter was like, this is what I want. Mom, can you make my water bottle now? And then done. You can also use stencils. Like, there's so many ways. You just got to make sure that the product you are sublimating on is a sublimation product. All the products at Craft Express and Artistry are 100% sublimation ready, and so are the inks. And if you're going to use a printer and you want to sublimate with an image, just make sure you're using a sublimation printer with sublimation paper. Just make sure everything says the word sublimation on it and you're good to go. So all links are down in the information section. Thank you guys so much for Instagram. They're in my bio. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, you can definitely shoot me private message on Facebook, DM me on Instagram, or leave comments after the live is over in case I missed one. So just double checking back to see if there's any questions I missed. Can't see any on Instagram. We're good there. And on YouTube and Facebook, don't see any there either. So I think we're good. So thank you guys so much for being here and have an awesome, awesome day.